Happy Christmas! And welcome to the 4th annual Retrospectors Quiz of the Year. Oh, my dog just started barking. It's so exciting. In which we are going to determine decisively whether Arion or Rebecca has the best memory retention for what we've learned this year.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to be me. Except for the fact that actually I'm getting my excuses in early.
Every year we have to go through.
Okay, it's tradition, you guys.
I have a child. I'm tired. What's
I do
that?
have a child.
Moved to
Okay.
Australia.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
tall
that.
and the blood rushes away from my memory.
This year's excuse is an article that I read in the Telegraph, which was alerting humanity to the existence of people with a condition called highly superior autobiographical memory, or HASAM, which is where basically people can remember everything that they've ever experienced or learned since the day they were born. And it reminded me of a conversation that I had with you, Rebecca, years ago, where you were telling me how lame you thought it was that people couldn't spell words, because the minute you have seen a word spelled, you can't forget how that word is spelled. Rebecca has this unusual HASAM-like quality that I do think should be accounted for in some way, say with like a points deficit or a handicap or something.
I mean, Rebecca, I'm sure you can say instead with great humility that there's a chance you might win. There's a chance you might lose, right?
I've won and I've lost, you know.
That is true.
Exactly.
It's been ups and downs.
But I think the one that I won was a triumph of poor scorekeeping on the part of Matt, who was with us last time. But now we've upgraded to a new scorekeeper in Olly Peart. Welcome, Olly.
Hello. How are you all?
All right.
We're
How's your
good.
counting skills?
Pretty bad, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, it's worth saying we're recording this UK time 9:45 p.m.
Yeah.
Arion in Australia, what time is it there?
It is now 8:47 a.m.
So I feel like he's going to be sharper,
Is that right?
which might be an unfair advantage. But also, the person doing the counting in the form of Olly Peart is also disadvantaged by the time. So good work in either direction.
Two wines in.
Before we find out who's going to win the quiz, though, well, first of all, we should have a drink because it's the Christmas special and that's our tradition. Do they sell Prospero in Australia?
Not that I could find, unfortunately. So at 8:47 in the morning, I am on beer.
Oh, and it's a pint too. When you said it was going to be a beer, I thought it was going to be a bottle.
It's like a schooner.
Is that a traditional Australian beer to have with your cornflakes?
Any beer is good on cornflakes. No, this is a Cooper's. And Cooper's is a beer that I think was fashionable when I left Australia. And now that I'm back in Australia a decade and a half later, it's definitely not where beer culture is at these days. So it's the
It's
most
like
pathetic
so
beer that you could-
2009.
Exactly. But it's, it's 8:48 and cheers.
What are you drinking, Rebecca?
This is the remnants of a bottle of white wine that was in the fridge, and I have put a dash of tonic water that was also hanging around in the fridge in it to sort of
very continental.
cut the edge off the fact that it's been open for like 6 days at this point.
Very nice. Oh, I'm transported Renee and Renata style to a sun-drenched terrace.
But I've told you this before, right? That me and my husband talk about Renee and Renata probably, I'd say, conservatively once a month. It comes up.
In what context, apart from do you want to hear Save Your Love, does it come up?
I mean, we often just do the song without discussing it.
Do you do it with
just
one of you on the staircase like a Juliet balcony?
Yeah, if we're in somewhere that's got a staircase like that, is the natural circumstance, for instance,
Sure,
where we
of
might
course.
do it. Yeah, when we're on holiday, if we're in Italy, I mean, obviously, it's like a daily occurrence then.
If you
And
see a
averaging
rose
out
on the
across
floor, do you
year.
throw it in the air and hope that someone will catch it from a balcony?
I am convinced that your life is all like quotes and throwbacks and like
You're dangerously close to
memes.
the truth.
What is the percentage of original content in your relationship, would you say?
It's very hard to say, but like 2 AI chatbots have been pointed at one another.
They met on a dating app called Tribute Act. I've got here a Costco Pinot Grigio by Kirkland Signature 2022.
Is this the one that you got 6 bottles of, speculating that it was going to be nice and it wasn't nice, and now you've got 6 bottles to get through?
No, that was the one from Tesco, and I did manage to get through all of those.
Well done, Olly. Well
I think it's
done.
only been a day since we had the
Waste not.
conversation, so good effort.
Now, we should just mark some important milestones in the Retrospectors year. This was the year 2024 that we reached our 1,000th episode.
Incredible.
Rebecca's shaking her head in disbelief. It is a lot of historical facts.
Yeah, it feels like it's very like, Shania Twain, they said, I'll bet. It's a bit of that vibe, 1,000 episodes. Who would have thought?
Sarah Wyeth on Patreon has reached out to say she's just completed her second run through them all. So she's heard 2,000 episodes.
Good Lord.
That's commitment. Good.
That's
Well,
too
thank you.
much.
I'm not. Yeah,
I don't think it stands up to a second listen. That's my only concern.
I haven't listened to all of the episodes once, I'm afraid, which again ties into my excuse making that I just don't have that much time now that I've moved to
Just
Australia.
laying the groundwork all
Very
Now that I've
busy
moved
for
to
his inadequacy.
Australia.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realise their days were shorter.
It's just I
this
lost
was also-
time by going into the future, and now I couldn't make that time back up.
This was also the year that we added our faces to our artwork. Thank you for not letting that freak you out. Nick Hodder on Patreon has described our artwork thusly: the keen sleuth who is impatient to succeed, the bookish researcher trying to change the world, the enigmatic Rubik's Cube puzzler who observes the world with cynicism. Together, they are going to retrospect the shit out of stuff.
I knew it was a
love
mistake
that.
to reveal that picture.
I also love the fact that the picture is quite obviously you two from the same photo and me having been sort of put into the photo later.
Again,
With a
too
slightly
tall to
different-
be in the same photo as us, so we have to superimpose you.
Couldn't get me to bend down low enough.
A relevant joke, though. What does Mr. Rubik have in his pants?
Go on.
Rubik's pubes.
Oh, boo. I didn't realise that was that kind of a podcast. No, it's a Christmas special, Ollie. I didn't realise you were going to be working blue.
I think Rubik's Cube's jokes are the ones that come about in the playground, aren't they?
Anyway, you noticed there that I mentioned two people on Patreon. We are especially grateful to those of you who are listening who have paid for this. There are those of you who pay £1 a week to get a Sunday episode and bonus bit every week. You are the Club Retrospectors members, and you are helping keep this show on the road. So thank you very much if that's you.
Yeah, there are also other tiers, though, that are even more, if you're willing to part with even more of your hard-earned cash, you can get extra experiences at a certain tier of contribution. You get a birthday message from us.
You're referring to our 7 members of Club Retrospectors VIP.
Yep.
Members of the Club Retrospectors VIP tier, they are M, Tim Jackson, Sally Baker, Al Phil, Bill W, Michael May and Darcy, get a personalised birthday episode from us on their birthday.
They are the champagne room of Retrospectors.
Exactly,
But as
yeah.
like Chris Rock said, there is no sex in the champagne room, but there is a birthday bonus episode.
I think people, they seem to be genuinely delighted when they get their 10-minute long birthday episode, though, because I think most people think they're just going to get like a shout-out on top of a normal episode. No, we make you a special episode for your birthday every year if you're a member of Club Retrospectors VIP.
They're getting longer and longer as well. I sort of feel like we're sort of getting too into them. Like the last one ran to like 12, 15 minutes.
Anyway.
Just uninterrupted.
If that sounds like something you'd like, or the Retrospectors fan in your life might like for Christmas, then do sign up now to Club Retrospectors VIP, our top tier, at patreon.com/retrospectors. But any of those Patreon tiers help us make the show. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. You can also, by the way, on Patreon, watch the hour-long Q&A video that we posted for our 3rd birthday. That was this year as well. This was also the year that we hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. Slow and steady. We're not quite at Stephen Bartlett levels there. But if you would like to join them, we are at youtube.com/@theretrospectors. Would you like to hear some YouTube comments from the year?
Go on.
Oh, God. I hope you've curated them.
At David Hoffman says, this channel is so badly underrated. YouTube is really good at promoting S-H-1-D. Trying to circumnavigate the censors there.
That's not where I thought it was going.
Yeah,
That was
and
a pleasant
hiding
surprise.
great content like this.
Yeah.
There you are.
Very
Yeah.
You can help surface our content, please do. Ruben says in response to our Automat episode that the Automat lives on in the Netherlands. Snack bar chain Fibo is quite a big player in pretty much every decent city centre in the Netherlands, but it's filled with warm deep-fried snacks rather than regular foodstuffs.
That sounds
Cancel the
especially
trip. We're not
unpleasant.
going.
Yeah.
Bob says, Rebecca, I had to laugh and cry a bit when you confessed that you didn't know that Mr. Potato Head was an older product than Toy Story. As a man in my 60s, when I told my wife and friends, they all gasped when I told them what you said. And even more, that Toy Story is almost 30 years old. That's your life flashing before you, isn't it, being measured out in toy cycles.
What, did they not realise that at some point children had stopped being given actual raw potatoes with a bunch of sharp sticks to play with?
And in response to our episode When London Stank, at Mixed Martial Help writes, when it stank, have you been recently? Bit harsh.
Classic.
Nice.
Great,
Obviously
great
confusing
gag.
us with Paris. Yeah. Right, should we find out who's going to win this year out of Rebecca versus Arion then? Are you ready?
Yes.
You limbered up?
Woo!
Yep.
Yeah.
Brain ready.
Okay, just to recap, Rebecca was the champion in 2021, Arion was the victor in 2022. Rebecca seized back the trophy in 2023, so an all-time draw is still to play for our tall Australian. Rebecca, do you still have the cup?
I do. It's downstairs somewhere, but it was broken in half, I remember, last year.
That's
and
right, yeah.
Arion claimed it was an accident, but obviously
You will
wasn't.
have to post it to Sydney, and that expense
Yeah.
will be on you if you lose. Producer Olly, do you have your pen at the ready to make a note of who's getting what?
My pen is here and it is ready.
So, it's Arion versus Rebecca. It's 1 point per correct answer, but you do lose a point for a wrong answer. There are 25 questions this year. They're broken into 2 rounds of 10 questions. There is a numbers round in the middle. When you want to buzz in, since we are in separate rooms and separate continents this time, I've asked you to come equipped with a noise. Arion, what have you got there? Very nice.
It's a jar filled with bolts that I found in the studio. So it's
not a
quite
parcel
the
bomb.
festive. Oh, Jesus. Let's hope not. I might shake it only occasionally in that case.
I'm sure you want to shake that. Rebecca, what noise have you brought with you?
All right, well, you sent me running around the house earlier trying to find something. So I found something now. Let's test it out on air. This it's festive themed because this is a gingerbread scented candle.
Right.
Yes, and this is a spoon. And when I put them together, I hope...
Oh, yes, it's a
good,
distinctly
yeah.
different
Yeah?
noise. Yeah, well done.
great.
And festive, although we obviously can't smell the gingerbread in audio form. Okay.
Quick point of order.
Yes.
I have been dropping out a little bit.
Okay, it's hard.
Oh, my God.
So if I
So many
don't answer
excuses.
a question, and also if I answer a question incorrectly, it's because
Yeah.
I dropped out.
It's because it's that
for
pesky
a second.
internet.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a dodgy internet.
Okay, here's question 1. We kicked off our run this year by recalling the opening of Barnum's American Museum. That was on the 1st of January 1842. But which of these exhibits did not feature at the attraction? The Fiji Mermaid, the 1,000-year-old baby, or the club that killed Captain Cook? Which one of those did I make up? Come on, take a risk. Rebecca.
The 1,000-year-old baby.
Yes, I did make up the 1,000-year-old baby, although it is totally the kind of thing Barnum would have exhibited. Next question. What role was made famous by Clarence Nash? Clue, he played the part for almost 50 years.
Oh,
Arion.
Sherlock Holmes.
No, you've lost a point. Rebecca, would you like to take it back? Rebecca.
Was it the Pied Piper of Hamelin?
It wasn't. I'm afraid you've both lost a point. It was Donald Duck, as revealed in our Sunday episode, Meet Donald Duck.
Right.
Yes, of course.
Question 3. As recalled in our episode, The Medieval Titanic, how did Berold the Butcher survive the White Ship disaster of 1120? Arion.
Well, actually, he was clinging to a piece of ship detritus, but
Yes.
in the episode, in the cut that made it through, someone, and I
Yes.
can't remember who, falsely
Yes.
claimed that he was clinging to a rock.
Oh, take it up with the medieval chronicler. I think it was me, but that did come from a contemporary source.
I'm going to give
Well,
you
I think
half a
whoever
point.
said
I'm going to
that-
give you half a point for that because there's another reason. Can you get the other half a point, Aaron? What was the other reason? He clung to a broken mast. What was he wearing?
Oh, and he had very poor clothes. He was wearing something
Sheep
made
and
of goat
skin, not
yeah.
a tunic. Yes,
Exactly.
correct. Question 4. In 1806, who was the first non-royal recipient of a full-state funeral? Rebecca.
It was Lord Nelson.
It was Horatio Nelson, as discussed in our episode, Let's Bury Nelson. The
I thought that was a
technique of the let's
placeholder
is just
title.
brilliant. I love it. Question 5. In 1988, what was the title of the novelty song released by the Jamaican bobsled team? Was it Slide and Vibe, Ice It Up Mon, or Hobbin' and Bobbin'? Rebecca.
It was Hobbin and Bobbin.
It was Hobbin and Bobbin.
I could have
I
told
made
you
up
that
the
without
other
the options.
Question 6. In 1938, whose book was optioned for 20th Century Fox just so they could bung its author some hush money? 1938.
Oh, it's going to be related to Hedda Hopper.
It is. It's from our episode Hollywood's Gossip Queens, and the name of the lady is what?
I know it, but I feel bad now.
No, you can take it.
What's her name?
But I wouldn't have known.
You can take it.
I wouldn't have guessed if Arion hadn't said Hedda Hopper.
That's very kind of you.
So it was Luella Parsons.
It was
Yeah.
Luella Parsons. I'm
was
prepared
the
to give
other
you a
one?
point each on that, to be fair.
Okay.
For a Brucey bonus, though, how much money did 20th Century Fox give Luella Parsons? Closest guess wins. Arion.
$20,000.
Rebecca.
$100,000.
Rebecca's closer at $75,000. Question 8. According to the notorious 1966 Evening Standard interview with John Lennon, with which board game did the Beatles unwind in the evenings? Arion.
Monopoly.
Rebecca's thinking. I'm afraid you've simply lost a point there. It was Buccaneer, as discussed in our episode, John Lennon's Jesus Controversy.
Christ.
Question 9. Ode to Joy
obscure.
was chosen as the national anthem of which country for the 1992 Olympics? Rebecca.
It's South Africa.
It is South Africa, as discussed in our Sunday episode, Apartheid and the Olympics. Question 10. In 1886, with which bizarre pursuit did Larry Donovan make his name? I'm actually shocked if you don't get this. We did a whole episode about Larry Donovan. It's the only thing he did. Yes, Rebecca.
It's bridge jumping.
It was bridge jumping, yes. That's discussed in our
It's just
episode.
that my
the Disney
internet
link from Brooklyn
froze.
Bridge.
It's not that my brain froze.
Yeah. Not that I spent at least an hour of my life researching that man and can't remember anything about him. Okay, time for the numbers round. So it's the closest guest wins. So there's no need to dash in with the first answer here.
Okay.
All right. Pharmacist John Pemberton invented Coca-Cola, but how much did he sell it for in 1888? Let's go to you, Rebecca, first.
It's like $200 or something.
$200. Arion, would you care to go higher or lower than $200?
It was more like $100.
It was $300. Rebecca has the point. How many nickels did the first Automat take on day 1 in 1902? Arion, you go first this time.
I think it was 4. It was 3 or 4. I'm going to say 4.
4 nickels. Rebecca, I'm trying to not let my face give this away.
I mean, it was popular, wasn't it? So
It was
I'm gonna
more
say
popular than 4 nickels, yeah.
2,000 nickels.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it was
thought you meant
8,693, and that was Arion's fact. Here's the next question. As discussed in our episode...
what was the average price?
No.
Curse you,
As
beer.
discussed in our episode, When London Stank, how many miles of brick sewers did Sir Joseph Bazalgette construct? Rebecca first this time, on a number. How many miles?
80.
I'm trying to be stony-faced. Arion, poker face, don't want to give this away. She's close.
81.
Oh, yes, good move. I'm giving that to Arion. Audacious. It was 85.
Yeah, well done, me.
For how long was Cromwell's head left on the roof of Westminster Hall? Arion, your guess first.
Like, it fell down, didn't it, at some point? 5 years.
5 years. Rebecca, any advance on that?
I think it was longer. I think it was like... No, wait. It was... How long could it possibly be? 10.
I'm afraid the mangy, decrepit head of Oliver Cromwell was left on the roof of Westminster Hall for 30 years. So you are closest, Rebecca, as discussed in our episode, Bring Me Down of Oliver Cromwell. And final numbers question now. According to the Karolinska Institute of Sweden, what percentage of your longevity is due to your genes? Arion.
They say that it's about 60%.
60%. Rebecca, higher or lower?
30%.
Much closer, yes. It was 25%, as discussed in our episode Invasion of the Identical Twins. Right, we're back to the final 10 questions. So I'm not going to check in with Ollie to find out where you're up to at the
because it's
moment.
impossible to know who's winning at this stage.
Indeed. Okay, here goes. In 1982, what was the first video played on MTV? Buzz in when you know the answer. When I tell you, you'll kick yourself. It's obvious. Rebecca.
Is it Video Killed the Radio Star?
It is Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, as discussed in our episode I Want My MTV. Question 2 of this part. In 1724, what was the criminal scheme known as Buttock and File?
What scheme?
Buttock and File.
File.
Dodgy gangsters did it.
What was the year?
1724.
Which episode was it discussed in?
Okay, you're going to pass. It's from our episode Gangsters on the Gallows. It is the technique of using a sex worker to lure you in, then bashing you over the head and pickpocketing you.
Classic.
The classic double switch. In
We always use
1864, in 1864, the Path of Privilege was a road in which now defunct microstate?
Oh. And
was
its
that place
name
called?
was...
Rebecca.
It's Kuto Misto.
It is Kuto
yes.
Misto. Well done. As discussed in our Sunday episode, what happened to Kuto Misto? Right. Who won 53% of the vote on the 9th of February 2002? Arion.
Gareth Gates.
I
The other guy.
so much pain.
Will Smith. Will.
No, he's making it worse.
Will. Some other celebrity.
Arion,
Will
that
Young,
was so
Will Young.
good that you've got the right ballpark and the wrong man. Oh, no. It was Will Young and the Pop Idol final, as discussed in our episode Will versus Gareth.
You both lived through it.
No, that was
That one
tragic.
stung. That
was
one really
tragic.
stung.
Harsh. What does Opus Dei mean in Latin?
Something...
Not the kind of thing you want to
Something
ad-lib
of
for
God.
fun. Yeah, go on, Arion. Go on.
Yeah.
Shake your thing. Yeah.
It was the work of God.
It was work of God. Wow.
Yes.
Who would have
I was
guessed
going to say albino monk.
Magnum opus.
Can't believe you remembered Opus Dei, but not Pop Idol. We're very different people.
Rudimentary Latin.
Next question. That one thundering moment of horseflesh by the mile, quivering in its first leap forward, was a gift of the gods, is an eyewitness account of what event from 1893? That one thundering moment of horseflesh by the mile. Rebecca.
Yeah, it was the
Charge of the Light
Oklahoma
Brigade.
land rush.
The Oklahoma land grab, as discussed in our episode of the same name, yes. As discussed in our episode Crown the Concubine, how did Emperor Wu allegedly kill her rivals? Arion, you must shake your cracker, yes.
Well, there were a lot of rivals to get through. And she got through them through various contorted political machinations.
This is like ChatGPT. What's your
All in all,
answer?
means a
Curse you,
contribution to political
ChatGPT, for not
assassinations is not one to be overlooked.
Being properly responsive to the voices of my colleagues.
I mean, there was a famous allegation about how she killed them.
There was
Go on, yes.
I'm getting it mixed up with
Choppy, drowny, drowny, come on.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it was like, you remember that episode where the guy drowned his rivals
In
in
the
a
butt
butt
of-
of
Yes.
Of wine, yeah.
The
what's it
guy,
called?
the
Was
British
wine.
monarch, yes. In
Molesy
the vat of,
wine or
yes,
whatever
yes,
it was
that's
called.
right. Yeah.
Did she drown
It's like
them
that,
in
yes.
wine
Yes, she
as
did
well?
drown them in wine after doing what to them?
Chopping them up.
It wouldn't have been very nice.
With a sword.
Okay, neither of you getting points for this. I'm sorry. This is poor show. She had their hands and feet cut off and then drowned in a vat of wine,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
That's what it is.
In 2022,
Oh.
what was discontinued after selling over 450 million units?
iPod.
Arion. It was the iPod, as discussed in our episode 1,000 Songs in Your Pocket. In 1982, the funds from what cultural sensation were donated to the Campaign for Economic Democracy?
Oh, Jane Fonda's
Arion.
workout videos.
It was Jane Fonda's workout. Yes, you're bringing it back. Come on. And the final question. In 1977, who visited Groucho Marx's home in Los Angeles?
77.
And maybe gave him a gold record because they'd named their album after his movie.
Oh,
Rebecca.
does it have to be a person or can it be an act?
I'm looking for an act.
Queen.
It was the members of the band Queen, yes, as discussed in our episode, the Marx Brothers
I
Band.
couldn't get more granular than that.
Right, well, producer Olly, how did we do? You've got a lot of totting up to do there.
Yeah, not well.
Taking into account the handicap that we were going to give to Rebecca.
That we all agreed.
I mean, Arion's point scores just reads like binary now because he was, he's going up, down, up, down, up, down. Arion got 2. Rebecca
Solid.
got 13.
Wow, that is decisive, isn't it?
But you know why, though? I realised this time when we're doing it, it's because, Arion will always go in and give it a go.
Yes, and give you half
I'll
the
be
answer.
if I can't get it right, I won't contribute.
Yes,
I won't guess.
Yeah.
Which means if you want to contribute about half of your points, then we can tap them up again and see who won.
What I was doing was just kind of like a sort of classy thing. I wasn't actually ever offering to part with any of the points, obviously. I was just being gracious.
Very nice. Yes, thank you.
Well, you get to hold on to the trophy, Rebecca, which I'm sure it's going to become a treasured family heirloom, isn't it, eventually?
Obviously, yeah.
Don't write me off just yet. I might one of these years learn not to buzz in at some point.
Anyway, Merry Christmas, Arion, Merry Christmas, Rebecca,
everyone.
Merry Christmas, Olly,
Merry
Merry Christmas,
Christmas.
everybody. We will be back with new episodes from Monday the 6th of January. Mark it in your filofaxes. Have a fabulous festive season. Please support us if you can afford to do so by joining Club Retrospectors, either at patreon.com/retrospectors or via Apple Podcasts, which you can do right now from your Apple Podcasts app. And we will see you for our, what is it going to be, 4th year of retrospecting? Yeah, because this is our 4th quiz.
Holy
It's going to
moly.
be our 4th year next year. Sheesh. See you then. Bye.
Bye.